Lance, what really stood out to me, man, was just your athleticism all around. Being on the defensive side, offensive side, when you had to make the run, you did. Making the throws, you did. Just all around your athleticism was a very big deal to me. Okay. Now, my suggestions for your highlight video are the following. The first thing is to add an information slide at the very beginning. Okay. And the best way to go about doing this is to go on Canva. All right. And this is free. You'll go on there and you'll go to one of their slides. And on that slide, you're going to put the information of your name, school, graduation year, position, height and weight, X account, email, and phone number. Okay, put all that information on the left, picture of you on the right, download that, and then upload that to the very first thing on your video. Okay, now that can replace the one that you've already got on here, and so you just take that one off, put that one on, and then you start your film from there. Now, the reason we want to do that though, okay, so boom, as soon as the coach pulls up your film, all right, he's got all the information he needs of how to follow you on X, how to send you a questionnaire via email, how to contact you via phone number, okay, because all that makes a difference because with how short and valuable these college coaches' times all right. And personally, I've had to do this. When you get to that point, you have to pass on a kid because you can't keep trying to find their information. Okay, they're watching 60 to 100 kids in a day. All right, and so we got to try to make it as easily and helpful for them as possible by making that for them. That way, they can see all that information quickly and not have to worry about passing on us. Okay. Next, going to removing play/non-highlights. All right, and this is more anything that doesn't showcase your strength or transfer to the next level as much. Okay, kind of trying to help move the needle a little bit. We want to take out some of the plays that are just maybe not as big of plays as some of your other ones you have on here. Okay, so the one I want to start out with is just the one at the 225 mark. All right, your quarterback sneak, not a bad play whatsoever. 4th and 1, fantastic job getting it. You see it outside. Okay, but you don't just sometimes this might be one of coaches like, well, why is he going outside? Why is he doing this? You just don't want to go through the checklist of these coaches. Oh, he should have done this, should have done this, and they just see quarterback sneak. Okay, quarterback sneak is going to get 4th and 1. Okay, other ones it's kind of not as predictable on some of that stuff and everything else. Okay, so that's where we want to kind of do that. And then at the 407 mark here, okay, the other one I've got on here for you is just the tackle. We just didn't hit him, didn't finish compared to your other one you've got on there. Okay, wanting to show that physicality and that violence more, we just kind of pushed him out of bounds. Okay, that's what they're kind of looking for, more that physicality and violence on that side as the DB. Next, removing captions. Okay, I've got all those listed here. And this is basically all of your spot shadows. So if you just go change your spot shadows on these plays, you'll be perfectly fine. Okay, so you just don't want the ones that say wait for it or watch this. You just want the circles or something else on there. And then remove the background sound. Okay, so remove those captions, remove the background sound. And the reason we want to do that is because we don't want to have anything that's going to be a distraction to that college recruiter watching the film. Okay, just like you, they get in the zone, all right, and they're locked in, and with how many kids are watching a day, we just don't want something to pop up on theirs. It kind of throws off their rhythm of how they evaluate you compared to everybody else, all right. Next, going to the order of plays, okay. We want to go offense, defense, and then special teams, okay. So on the offensive side, though, excuse me. So with the orders, though, on this, the reason we want to do that is because that way, say, the DB coach can come up and boom, pull up your film, and there's all the information he needs right there, okay? So that will really help out. Next, going to our sequence of plays, okay? So within our sequence of plays, we want to kind of break this down into sections, okay? You're going to have everything's going to be first in these sections. It could be pass to run, being quarterback stuff, all right? Then you're going to have your long TDs, your short TDs, so anything 25 and in, red zone type stuff. Then your explosive plays, anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. And then kind of your movement plays. This is more maybe rolling out, stepping up, not necessarily the 15 yards down the field or design run, that type of stuff. That's what those movements are. And the remaining offensive highlight, which is not necessarily an explosion play, but still a good play that showcases what you can do. And I'll kind of go over that here in a second. Then, if you decide to add your defensive clips on there, okay, you want to go your turnovers first, your PBUs, your tackles, anything physical and violent most, and then kind of go from there, and the remaining defensive highlights. Okay, and on those defensive highlights, that's not necessarily the statistical side of it, but still showcase what you could do. So like maybe doing something good in coverage, or staying with a guy, or something like that. Okay, and then after that clip, then you can add in your special teams clip. All right. Now, that's kind of how breaking down into that order within that would be. Okay, so, but I just did the offensive ones for now, but just that way you know for future, if you want to add more defensive clips, that's how you need to order those things. Okay, now, going back to how I have these timestamped. All right. Now we want to put our best clips first, no matter what section, offense, defense, special teams. You want to put your best clip first because you want to keep that coach watching early and keep him watching longer. All right. So what I've done is I picked out your top clips for each section. So long TD, the 47-second mark. Great job on your drop. Boom, showing off. Okay, leading the guy. All right, showing off the arm strength a little bit. Great job by the receiver. Big touchdown play down the field. Okay, that's how I'd start that one off. Then I know you've got other ones on there, and you follow suit from there. Okay, next, going to the short TD, so the play right after this. All right, the 103 mark. Okay, boom, 1, 2, 3 hitch, ball's gone. Good outside shoulder ball. That's where you want it to be. Okay, now when you get to like your special teams clips, that's where you put all your offense, all your defensive clips, like we talked about in the sequence, and then your special teams there. Okay, and now going to your explosives. So at the 131 mark here, all right, showing this one off. Okay, again, explosives are anything 15 to 20 plus yards down the field. Okay, great ball here, boom, right in that window between the DBs. Fantastic job there. Then we'll go to the 236 mark to kind of show your movement stuff. Okay, what I'm kind of talking about here, rolling out. All right, boom, not a 15-yard play. Okay, but for when you threw it, all right, but at least a 10 to 12-yard ball. All right, so spot shadow, this is what I'm talking about. Just change this up here. That'll help out. But then go into your remaining offensive highlight, the 206 mark. Okay, to kind of go over this for you really quick. All right, just to kind of show you what I'm meaning. So we got the dig right here. Boom. All right, that's what they're kind of looking for. Sorry, too far ahead. So that's what we're kind of looking at right here. Okay, 10-yard dig, something small underneath. Great job under pressure, showcasing what we can do, not just the big explosive plays, but still sometimes those plays that we need to move the ball or something like that under pressure. Okay, so change up that information slide. All right, remove those couple of plays we talked about. Take off those spot shadows / captions. Take off the background sound. Change that order up. Okay, change up the sequence within the orders. All right, and then overall, this provide a more dynamic highlight video for college coaches. Now, after going over the game film feedback, let's take a look at what divisions you should target. Okay, I'm basing this off the most recent highlight video, which is exactly what college coaches are going to do, and where the athlete can receive a scholarship right now. Okay, and I want you to understand something. This is also a current evaluation opposed to a projected evaluation. Okay, so with that being said, there's a few things that these college coaches look at for criteria. First thing is your graduation year. All right, right now we've got a couple years. Use this to your advantage, though. Okay, use this to your advantage on how we need to attack recruitment. Okay, how we can help improve, how we need to attack summer camps and everything else. That's really going to be beneficial for us. Okay, they're also going to look at your size, your mobility, your accuracy, and your arm strength as a quarterback. All right. And with that being said, the levels you should look at today for a scholarship are the upper D3, okay, all the way up to the upper NAIA level. All right. Now, you may or may not start getting interest from these college coaches at these levels yet, just due to your graduation year. Okay. Now, that does not mean you can't start the communication process with them through emailing and calling them. Okay. You can start doing that now. Make sure you start getting your name out there, doing it well with marketing and branding it in the correct way. But then you also need to start getting out there through social media, following these coaches on X. Make sure you're DMing these coaches, okay? That's going to be huge. As an underclassman, make sure your visibility on social media platform is very big, all right? But here's the deal, too. With these prospect camps coming up and summer camps, we need to make sure we're attending the right ones, all right? Sometimes you go to these mega camps, there's 1,000 different kids there, and it's easily to get lost in the shuffle. Okay, especially as an underclassman, especially even as a recruiter from my personal experience when I've gone there, it's hard to really get a true evaluation on so many kids and really develop a relationship and want to see certain things out of them. Okay, so that's a big thing. But if you can go to sometimes these smaller camps, okay, or the more one-on-one or smaller group camp schools and stuff like that, where there's not as many, you're able to develop a relationship easier. You're able to introduce yourself to that coach easier, but then that coach is going to remember you more too. Okay, they're going to remember you running that 40. They're going to remember you throwing one-on-ones or playing one-on-ones DB, whatever it is. They can kind of watch you a lot more. Okay, and that makes a big difference because then when you send them that midseason highlight, they're going to have that relationship and they're going to know who they're watching. Okay, so that is my perspective on how you should attack summer camps. Okay, now how can we also go attack these levels and get better though? All right, my suggestions to improve your game that translates to college football and possibly a higher division are the following. First thing is accuracy. Okay, working on catch and throw drills, simulating throwing bubbles, fast screens, quick game. All right. Drop drills, okay? This all starts from the ground up because if your feet are right, everything else has got a good chance. Working on mechanic drills. Aim small, miss small, okay? College football, the windows get smaller as the defenders get faster, all right? Film study. Learn to lead the receivers open at all three levels by knowing where the windows will be at based on the coverage you're getting from the defense, but the concept you guys are running as an offense, okay? That's going to help out with your football IQ, okay? Arm strength. Core and leg strength is going to help create more throwing velocity for you. Squats and exercises that deal with that explosion for that power is really going to be beneficial. Okay, quick twitch stuff, single leg stuff, because it's all about starting from the ground up. Because here's the deal with that: if you've got more zip on the ball in college, you got to account for those faster players. Footwork drills: shuffle and weave between over bags, figure eight with cones, gap pressure simulation drills. Have a good base while you're doing these, and have a football in hand. All right, this is going to help your mobility and your pocket awareness. All right, which can help translate to the college level. Because college coaches today are looking for quarterbacks who are mobile. All right, because if something breaks down, they want to know a guy who can either extend the play with their feet or with their keeping their eyes downfield. Okay, ball security, have that thing high and tight. You can practice this while you're doing footwork drills or sprints. Okay, because if you can't protect the football, your chance of playing is going to go down. Flexibility, pre and post training stretching. If you guys don't do this as a team, you got to do this on your own. All right, this is also going to help prevent injury because your best ability is your availability. If you're dinged up and nicked up over these next couple years, that's going to hurt your chance of video, which will then hurt your chance of an offer. All right, you took it to the college ranks, you're dinged up and nicked up. That hurts your chance on the depth chart. So you've got to make sure you're taking care of your body, and especially as a quarterback, you've got to make sure you're taking care of your arm. Okay, that's got to be huge for you because our arm's the key. All right, but these improvements are what a quarterback college coach will look at. So double down, do all these things, hit it hard, and if it translates to your video, this can help you level up your evaluation and possibly have an opportunity at that D2 level. But Lance, at the end of the day, man, everything's really going to come down to your individual work, your outreach, as well as your marketing on social media, and your relationship building with college coaches, which is why the next step is your athlete interview. You're going to get an interview with the coach and get coached on your communication and your interviewing skills, which is critical for the conversations you're about to start having with college coaches. So make sure you watch the video beforehand and ready to go. If you have any questions, we'll be able to answer them at the end of the interview. Thank you.